It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two movies released on January 23rd, 2009. Not memorable movies, to say the least, but we got to get through this week, so let's just go ahead and get right to it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump into it with the first movie we have here, the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Underworld: Rise of the Lycans.
I've lived by their rules my entire life. And for what?
We can be slaves, or we can be Lycans!
On January 23rd, you have to find me for the last time. Prepare yourself
Are you with me?
for the battle that started the war. Underworld, Rise of the Lycans, rated R.
Well, at least that werewolf looks better than American Werewolf in Paris or the more recent movie Wolfman, which, yeah, those Wolfmen were not that memorable. But this is Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. This is actually a prequel to the Underworld series, even though it's also considered the third installment of the series. Kate Beckinsale is in the movie, but at the very end of the movie, like, she appears very briefly. You can almost make the argument that they took that from one of the other two movies, but this is focusing primarily on the origins of the characters and the events that lead up to the Vampire Lycan War. As I've said with the other Underworld movies, I'm not the biggest fan of these movies per se. I thought the first two were just meh, and this one really wasn't doing itself any favors either, but I mean, you got Bill Nighy in here, and Bill Nighy will usually turn in a good performance regardless of what the film is that he's in. Michael Sheen is also in here too. Rhoda Mitra is basically the main character in the movie, replacing Kate Beckinsale in this, but it's just more stuff we've seen done before and done much better in other movies. I don't know. I just never really got into these Underworld movies per se. I like them better than the Resident Evil films, but never to the point where I would say that any of them are really all that good. I think this one was just kind of them pushing their luck and seeing if they could do this without Kate Beckinsale, and it is what it is. I mean, if you got to go into it knowing what it is. If you don't, then you're not going to like it that much. I knew what it was going into it, and I was just kind of like, whatever. Like, I really don't have much of an opinion on this one in particular. It's just kind of the same way I felt about the other movies. Nothing really stuck out to me with those other movies in general. But, yeah, this one, yeah, like I said, not much more to say about that one. We can be very quick on both of these movies, honestly, because neither one of these movies that we have here are really memorable whatsoever. Case in point, the second and last one we have here, and that's Brendan Fraser leading a cast and includes Helen Mirren in Inkheart.
This is the story you have been waiting to hear. On Friday, I read my own appearance.
Your voice brought them out of the book.
You can journey to a world where fantasy
Unicorn, flying monkey.
becomes reality.
Why didn't you tell us?
Would you believe me?
An adventure lives on every page. From the best-selling book, Inkheart, rated PG, starts this Friday.
And I know what everybody is thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. If this guy can say the name of anybody out of a book and bring him out of the book, get this guy some Playboy magazines and let's get this party started. But let's get some Playboy Playmates in this bitch. Hell, let's even get Hugh Hefner in on the party. He knows where the girls are at, but yeah, that's the obvious joke you got to make with a concept like this. But Brendan Fraser plays a guy named Mortimer Silvertongue Fulchart. It's a weird last name. Fulchart has the special talent to bring characters out of books. One night, he brings out three characters from Inkheart, a story set in medieval times and filled with magical beings. Capricorn, played by Andy Serkis, and Basta, played by Jamie Foreman, and two villains, and Dustfinger, played by Paul Bettany, a fire eater. Now, 10 years later, Meggie, played by Eliza Bennett, discovers the truth, and it's up to her to escape Capricorn's evil grasp. This also has Jennifer Connelly in here, as well as Jim Broadbent, so there is a decent cast in this movie overall. The premise, joking aside, is actually kind of intriguing. This is based off of a book of the same name by Cornelia Funke and written by David Lindsay Aberry, who has actually written some notable stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting idea, just not a very good, well-executed movie. This is the type of film that, you know, it's trying to be something like the next Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. Take a beloved, popular young adult book and turn it into the next movie. And with a better director, I think this movie, and a better script overall, I think this could have been really, really good. There's too good of a cast in this movie, too talented cast in this film to not make this intriguing. And it just, it just doesn't come together overall. Like, there's so many good ideas that you have here, and just the script overall falls into predictable territory we have seen done to death before so many times before in the past. And it really gets old really fast. I mean, this thing gets really old really fast. The cliches are there. None of these characters are really likable, and it just doesn't have a motivation to do something unique and different with it. And like I said, a better director and a better scriptwriter could come in and probably make this movie a whole lot better than it actually is, but it's just not there. It's just not there in this movie. And it's a bummer because there is a good idea in here, just not good execution overall, so... yeah, another mixed opinion, this time for Inkheart. Should have been so much better, but it just isn't. And so with that said, we're going to wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we'll wrap January up, the first month of 2009, with 3 movies, none bigger than Liam Neeson starring in Taken, which went on to become a big surprise hit, and a really good movie in the process, a rare good January movie. I mean, back then it was a rare good January movie. Remember, January was always the dumping month. But we also have The Uninvited, which stars Elizabeth Banks among its cast, and Renee Zellweger in the romantic comedy New in Town. The PG-rated romantic comedy, because clearly the last PG-rated romantic comedy that we looked at means that we gotta have more of them, right? I don't know. This one is a little bit better, but not by that much. But we'll take a look at those 3 movies coming up tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, if you like what you saw and you want to see more episodes like this, please go ahead and hit that playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. See, I did it again. I'm so used to just pointing down below, but yeah, if you want to watch it, there it is over there. There it is over there. But then you can go hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell. That's where you get the updates. We do post new videos here every day. Again, I've lost my train of thought here for a second. But with all that said... thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.